Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Pink Table Talk. How y'all doing today? We hope that you are doing well and that you are living your life like it's golden, because we are. You see all of this melanin popping up here today. We are here to talk about women's topics as we do every week right here on the Pink Table to Read. And today we are back with our part 2, talking about the reality of dating. But first, before we get into that, we want to make sure that you like and subscribe the Hope TV and the House of Hope Atlanta. Either way, you can see us. We would love for you to come on and see the rest of the shows that we have. We have children's shows. We got a cooking show. One of our guests has a show, Grown and Sexy. We've got so many different things. Our pastor, Dr. E. Dewey Smith, has shows. It's just amazing. Whatever you need, we've got it right here on the Hope TV. Yes. We got awards, award-winning, all of that right here. So make sure that you do that. And of course, you know you've got to watch the Pink Table Talk. Right. That's where it's at. So we are going on our part 2 about this dating thing, the reality of it for ladies. Right here, y'all, our part 1. If you didn't see that, please go back and watch that, because that was really good. And we're going to continue on today. So our guests, they're here, of course. We've got Natalise Washington back with us again. So glad to have her. How you feeling today, Natalise?
Feeling amazing, ready to get into this conversation.
Yes. Miss Deidre Stafford, our co-coordinator for the Women of Hope. How you doing, Dee? And of course, DeShannon Dixon, Grown and Sexy, literally. And she's got a show called Grown and Sexy. So we're going to tap into it a little deeper today. So you guys, do you all feel with dating that we've created a culture for men to date and never marry? Do you think we play a part in that? Because I know I meet a lot of guys and they're like, you know, we've been dating for 5 years. I ain't ready yet to get married. I ain't ready. And the woman is still there. You know, they're dating. They seem happy. I've seen women 10 years, 15 years, you know, they just dating, and it's no expectation of marriage, even though the woman really wants it.
Right.
So do you think that we've played a part in that? Who wants to go first on that?
I definitely will go first on that. The thing has happened is, like, I don't even know where these numbers came from. 10 to 1, 8 to 1, 12 to 1. You hear that all the time. There's, 3 times as many women than men. So like, it's like this shortage that's created this scarcity thing. Right. And so it's like a piece of man is better than no man at all. The devil is a lie. Right. Let me just say that. Right. But because of that mentality, you hear, like people tell me all the time at my age, and I don't mind telling y'all because I look good at 51.
Come on now.
Yes. So at 51, my chances of being remarried is 0%.
Wow.
0%.
Wow.
My chances of sharing a man is 60%. So if you've got a man that's thinking that he has 12 women to him, he's on a buffet. Okay, so he's saying, well, if she don't do right, I can go to this one. I can go to this one, and I can go to this one. And if y'all have ever been to Golden Corral at any time, you have piled your plate up and you don't really eat anything.
Right.
You eat on things.
Yes,
and so you don't even know if this one works because you're on to the next one, to the next one, to the next one. So the men that I'm in contact with, some of them, not all of them, of course, I don't know every man. Let's just be honest.
That's right.
I don't know every man, but they say they're serial daters. But that, they will say that they want a serious relationship and they want the end game to get married. But the reality of it is, as long as there's supply and demand, they will continue to meet the next one until that works. So they're dating 3 or 4 months, then going 3 or 4 months here, 3 or 4 months there, which keeps the excitement going. They're meeting somebody new. Nobody really gets to see them at their worst.
Right.
Because in 3 months, you're still at your best.
Right.
But because we have bought into this 12, 8, 10 to 1 man, that's how people are engaged for 10 years, because at least they got somebody.
Wow.
Listen, let me go to the life coach, DeShannon, for just 1 second. Literally, I say this all the time. If God has got to scoop down in the dirt and create me a new Adam, there is somebody for me, and that means there's
right.
somebody for you. Do not get into this sharing business
That's right.
because you think that he might pick me.
Yeah.
If he is a serial dater, that's what he is. Believe him at his word. You're not going to change him
That's right.
all of a sudden because you're doing exactly the same thing the next 5 people are doing.
That's right.
So know his intention and know what his real end game is, and look at his history.
That's right.
If he's been single 7, 8 years and he's been dating, you mean to tell me you ain't found nobody in 7, 8 years? Then look at that stuff. So yes, we've created this panic that, oh my God, I'm not married at 30. My daughter's 30.
Wow.
She's not married. Like, it's a panic. Like, I had to be married at this. Well, she's educated. She went to school, got a degree. But this panic of there's such a shortage of men has created that.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's true. That's true. I like
I'm
that.
off my soapbox.
No.
I'm going
That's
somewhere.
good though. You got my wheels
Yeah,
turning
me
in
too.
my mind. You're right. You want to add to that, Deidre?
Whew. Oh, geez. Okay, well, wow. I mean, I've just always been like, I'm a wife. I'm a
Yeah.
wife. Like, I'm not trying to date you for 4, 5, 10
Right,
years. I'm a wife.
right.
I know I'm a wife. So if that's not, and I'm going to tell you that up front.
Right.
So if that's not what you want, I mean, let's just go our separate ways. But I'm real upfront. I'm a wife.
Yeah.
I want to be married. I
I
love
love it.
marriage. I love relationship with
Yeah.
one person. So,
I love
good.
that.
yeah. So I'm not going to keep nurturing you and hoping and praying you're going to come around and I'm going to be the one. No, I'm not second, third, fourth, fifth. I'm first. And that's it.
That's it. I like that.
That's it.
I like that a lot. That's good. Natalie's.
I don't think I could add anything to what they've said.
No.
It's the truth though, because and I think too, even with women, I think we've forgotten that we set the standard. This high value man thing is saying, I tell you if you're good enough for me. We've always been the prize. We've always been the prize. God made us as a gift to the man. You know what I'm
Like,
saying?
we have to say yes.
Yeah, I have to say yes to your proposal. I have to, but for some kind of reason, and I don't know if it's the shortage of men or whatever, we've made the man like, oh my goodness, please pick me,
Yeah. It's
please.
the pick
And I
me
hear women say that
mentality.
all the time. Thank you for choosing me. Like, what are we doing here?
No, I've never
You know,
heard that.
like I'm here too. It's like, oh, I'm so grateful that you chose me. Like, we're gifts to each other, and I just think
Yeah.
that we've created this culture where, and I'm not saying that men aren't important, they are
Yeah.
in their own right, but to just beg somebody to be with you, and if he says he's not looking for marriage, you can, if that's what you want, if they say anything that you don't want, you just need to say, okay, it's been great getting to know you, and move forward. But I think we've been taught to kind of, let me see and let me, okay, but I don't know if I'm gonna get any better. I'll just stay here and wait. And he's gonna, let's wear him out, so to speak. Ain't nobody got time for that.
We did that back in season 6. So ladies, if y'all haven't seen that show, because the guy that I had on the show, attractive, he's literally peeping game. He's letting you guys
Yep, he
know
sure did.
what the deal is. Seriously. 1 and 2. And I mean, but we don't, and one of the things he said is women don't listen. We can be telling them something, but they don't listen because they want to hear what they want to hear.
Right.
And even when we're saying that it's not working out, we're taking it as that maybe there's something in us that we need to change. But if y'all have not seen those 2 episodes, go check those out because he's a little bit older, he's 50, in mid 50s. But literally, check out what he's saying because a lot of women came back to me and was like, oh, I get it now. I get it now. I listened to what he said and what you asked him because men may or may not be telling you the truth.
That's true. And you have to pay attention, like we talked about in the part 1, you have to pay attention to actions.
Yes.
And, because you'll meet a guy and you only calling me during the day. You never can call me in the evening or it's a certain time. It's like, wait a minute, so
Or I get a text at night. I don't
Right,
get phone
or
calls.
it's the text that, like, wait a minute, hold on, what's going on with kids? Your phone is like dead for the whole weekend, and then you're back on. You know, it's like, okay, what do we have going on here? So yeah, I think we have to watch the doings.
I understand that.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, is there a theological claim that comes back repeatedly in your practice of preaching?
For mine is that God is a God of mercy. God is a God of compassion, and that God will never leave you or forsake you. My job is to preach that grace and that compassion and mercy to whomever, comes into church or whoever I contact.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
We see that you founded something, an organization called Black Girls in Cyber.
So I started these Facebook Live series called Black Girls in Cyber, and I would invite different African-American women who were working in different aspects of the field to come and share their stories, very similar to as I'm doing now, and what their journey was, and to just really create more industry awareness around what this looks like.
What are some of your deal breakers and standards when it comes to dating men and what you expect?
Well, for me, since it was so long between me dating before till now, my expectation of how men are was different. Like I thought, like this whole idea of high value, I thought all guys were there. You know, I was like, oh, you didn't finish school. I literally was shocked that why is 6 figures the standard in 2022 when women, I thought, well, that was the standard for me way back 20 years. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are we talking about? So understanding that where people are, and I don't want to bring you along. Like, I don't want to carry you so you can meet your goals. That, I think, for me, is one of the things that, like, oh, you still trying to be a rapper? Oh, okay. Yeah, well, so some of that.
Especially at our age.
Right. I mean, I'm using that as an extreme example,
Yeah.
as an
It's too
extreme
far.
example. But I think, trying to push somebody along, I don't want to. I'm at the retirement.
Right.
I don't want to still be grinding
Right,
now. That kind of thing is probably somebody I would be less want you smoking and that kind of stuff. That's like a no-brainer. But I think goals, where are you in life?
Yeah.
Because if you still trying to make it, that's going to be difficult because you won't understand that I done that many, many years ago. That's when, because I had the youth to do it. Now I'm sleepy.
Right.
I'm
tired. It's time.
Right. So what's your deal? I want to hear your deal breaker. Just off the gate, what's your deal breaker?
Their faith is important to me and their legacy mindedness. So I want them to
that.
have a plan. Like, I'm 37, and so, you know, I'm at a place where people aren't, you know, looking at retirement yet, but we're planning for that.
Right.
Like, how soon can we stop working?
Right.
Like, what is our plan to set up, you know, maybe not as wealthy as I'd like to be, but, you know, a limited generational wealth, something to pass on.
Yeah, that's true.
And so I want to hear what they talk about money. I want to see how they're moving money, how they're saving money. You know, are they talking about businesses and investments? And that is attractive to me. I'm like, oh, he's thinking about the future. Maybe not me in the future, you know, but just thinking about the legacy that he hopes to create. That is
I love that.
essential for me.
That's very good.
So imagine when you get my age and there is no plan, or they're just now starting a plan. Sir, you
Wow.
55.
Wow.
You ain't got, but you know, men die way
Right.
before.
Before we
You know
do.
what I'm saying? Like, sir, what did you do when you were your age? What were you doing? Find out that they didn't grow up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
That they didn't grow up when you were growing up.
yeah.
That's so true.
Yeah.
That is
So that
true.
right there is a shocker for me. Like, seriously?
Because you have to turn a different age every year, but your mental
Yeah, what are you
capacity
doing? Yeah.
can still be, you know, because I'll meet guys 50s, you still act like you're 21.
It's like,
25.
why? I don't want you in no jersey and
Yeah,
no Air Force Ones. Sir, where your real shoes at?
Or
you
just
ain't got
the
no real
mentality,
shoes?
you know, the
You
mentality
know,
of the person is like,
you know, if
what
you
is
bought
going
the
on?
suit out of K&G, at least let Sumeen them tailor it in the back.
That's all you got to do. That's all. We won't know.
I mean, you cannot show up with sneakers on unless we're doing something where that's appropriate.
Yeah. I understand that completely.
Okay, so you just laughing.
She's
She having a
laughing.
good time.
Well, what was your
'Cause
deal
it's just
breaker?
interesting to hear everybody's standards, because you got certain women where this is really not important to them. Like the woman might not be a dresser, so him wearing his jersey and all of that is not a a big deal for her. So it's just it's good to hear other women talk about their standards and
Now,
all
if
of
we
but
going to the
everything.
game, that's what is expected. I mean,
But you know, you got a lot of men who and they're
on their
just at the
job and
house and
I
you
just
know.
feel like if you are 50 and up and you look 30, that doesn't mean you have to act 30. You get what I'm saying? It's great that you look good, but you don't have to look like that age.
Yeah.
That's my thing. But as far as when it comes to standards and all of that, my thing is just consistency.
Yeah.
that's-
Like how you met me and what you were doing when you met me, when you
That's
called me
so
every morning, or
important.
good morning
Right.
text, or in the middle of the day, or if you was gassing my car up in the beginning, keep gassing my car.
keep that same energy.
You know,
Don't
just
stop.
the consistency
Don't stop.
of it. Considering me, just stay consistent.
Yeah.
I mean, I've
That's
been in a
nice.
relationship for a long time, so it's just, to me, that's not a little thing, but it is a
No,
little.
that's
It's a little big
I
thing.
love that.
Because yes, I can do all of those things myself, but if I got a man, take those
Yeah.
things away from me.
Yeah.
Be a
Because they
man.
want us to be consistent
Yeah.
with how we do.
Yeah.
And I don't ever start anything that you can't continue
That's
to
right.
do. And so, if you start and we
Yeah.
talking these about a day, don't pull back now,
Right, right.
because you've gotten comfortable with me. Keep it going.
Right.
Because I think it's important even when you get married to continue dating
Yeah.
each other. And I don't
Comfortable.
want
You
to
too comfortable.
Yeah, I don't want to be bored.
that in the beginning, or that
Exactly.
was just your
Today, we're going to be making some pickles. Pickles is a Haitian condiment. You have cabbage, carrots, shallots, bell peppers, and onions, white vinegar, and you let it sit in the refrigerator and chill.
To Sophia and Gabriel. Even though these old knees can't follow on your adventure to the forest today, these flowers represent my love. These stitches and threads join us together. And wherever you see a flower, a bird, a beautiful tree, know that my love is with you.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
How in the world did this country girl end up on a platform
with Ricky Dillard.
Don't make your social media page private, please. Ricky Dillard just simply inboxed me, and sure enough, he called. We spoke about a rehearsal in Atlanta. I showed up my first rehearsal date. He asked me, was there any song on the record that I would like to sing? And I said, I feel comfortable singing Best Day. And he was like, okay, cool, let's go.
But that was one thing that we talked about before we actually started taping that I kind of want to revisit about this whole ghosting thing. With and how to deal with that when it happens as women. And there are a lot of women who ghost men. Because I know a few that do that on a regular basis. It's like, oh, I don't like him anymore, block, you know. And guys, some of them have feelings, emotional, well, not all. Some of them are very like, look, what happened? I was really into you, you know. So let's talk about that really quickly. So we know what ghosting is. It's just cutting all communication without letting the person know. So at what point is a ghost necessary? Is a ghosting situation necessary? And have you experienced it? And what did you do? Because you don't always get closure. And I think for a lot of women, closure is very important.
We want to know why.
We want to know why. Everything was going so well. So what happened? You know, so who wants to go with that? Who wants to start off?
I mean, it's fine. I've been ghosted, but I think ghosting is just a part of the culture now. People don't want to just sit down and have the conversation about what is or is not working.
Right.
Is it personality traits, communication styles, standards, boundaries? Most of the time it's boundaries, and that's fine. You didn't like the boundary I set? Say that and move on. But I know that's the reason that I get ghosted, and that's fine. But I think we need to normalize hard conversations.
That's it.
Like, let's be grown-ups. And start talking about other hard things, like what your expectations are. So, you know, my normalized hard conversation is my established boundaries. And so I'm trying to open the door for any exchange and conversation there. And so to step up the communication bar. And I think that is really all ghosting is. People just don't want to take the time or the energy to have some uncomfortable conversation.
That's so true. That's so true. And I don't know
we mask it in protecting our peace.
That's good.
That's what we,
That's
I'm
so
going to
true.
protect my peace, so hey, I'm not going to fool with you anymore.
Right.
Instead of being an adult.
Yeah.
That's really, it's an immature move.
It is.
It's a baby move, truly. Like, just, if I don't want to see you anymore, I can communicate that.
That's right.
And I'm not upset, and you're not upset. But, you know, if you're sometimes people just don't show up at places.
Right.
Like, it's, yes, it's cultural, but it's really petty and immature.
It is. It really is.
I'm not for everybody. And I knew that coming into this.
That's the best way to. I love that statement. My friend Kim always says that, and I adopted that. You know, I'm not. Everybody doesn't like my personality, and that's okay. That's cool. But at least give me the courtesy. It's been cool.
Oh, especially I think when it happens, it's never like, oh, we hadn't talked for a couple of days. Like you was talking yesterday,
and then you just don't answer the phone no more.
Right.
What happened? Yeah, completely. You've never experienced that before, have you?
I don't know what I would do.
Well, because it's, you're not really sure what to do.
Yeah.
It's like, well, what happened?
Yeah.
Because that would really, I'm not going to say it would affect me, but it would. Like, what happened? Like, what I do? Did I say something?
Yeah.
What did I do?
Because you start replaying conversations like, did I
we were
miss
good,
something?
yeah.
Then it's more like, is he dead? Is he alive?
Because we're fixers as women.
exactly.
We're nurturers. We want to know what happened. We want to fix it when it's broken. And because of that was like, what happened? Oh, you just didn't like me no more? Well, you could have just said that because you want to line up anyway, but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, I'm calling you to see if you dead or alive. I mean, I could have moved, and done something different.
Yeah, but I think that's just the way that things are now. Just no integrity, characters just low. Because like even on my job of recruiting agents, we have a great interview. They love what the company has to offer, So now I'm calling you like, okay, hey, when are you coming on board? And I get ghosted like,
oh yeah, they
at least
just will
so
not.
I'm emailing like at least tell me what happened, what we didn't have, or what the other company had. They just
Well,
don't
that's
come
not
back.
even. I mean, I get that with professional.
That's what I'm saying.
And
That's not
right.
professional.
I'm talking about
You might have to
professional.
swing back around that way
Right.
again.
I mean, how a doctor don't show up?
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? You know, I'm talking about professionals here.
And I'm giving
so-
you a 2-hour interview time, and you just don't even let me
So
know
it's
why.
just the mentality of it.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
there's just no integrity. Just
So, what is the best advice that you guys have gotten, or somebody has given to you about dating or with a man? Your mama, your grandmom gave you some advice, or auntie, or somebody that you've just picked up on. Is there any kind of advice that you could share with us that you've gotten?
well, I've just heard, don't give them everything if they're not your husband. Don't go in just giving everything. Don't be all that cooking and cleaning and shopping and fixing them up and all of that. And that was my issue.
Don't give
Well,
them
I mean, I
everything.
think that was your issue because you know how to be a wife.
Yeah.
And since you were a wife, and that's one of my things too, because I'm a wife, and so that's what wives do, and so that right there is tough for people that's single again.
Yeah.
But totally agree with you.
That's a good
I'm
one.
like, hold up, dude, you're doing too much. Sit on back.
Yeah.
Fall
yeah,
back.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they're like, but he can't be looking crazy when he's around you, though. You got to fix him up. but, so, yeah,
no,
so I
no.
try to watch that.
Yeah, that makes sense. What about you guys? Best advice or some good advice that you always take with you?
I say for myself and tell other people, enjoy the date, even if you don't enjoy the person. Because you done got dressed, you done put your little lipstick on, your hair looking good, have a good time. You're not gonna click with everyone, but enjoy the date. And that way you don't feel like you wasted your time and you did all of this for nothing. Have a good time. Purpose to have a good time. And I think that will make your dating experience a lot smoother, a lot easier. You'll be happy at the end of the day because you had a good time.
I like that. I like
Yeah,
that.
and mine is really simple, and I still struggle with it. But it's when people show you who they are, believe them the first time.
The first time.
It's that first time part that is.
You're like, wait a minute, let me give them a second time, see
Right,
if they're gonna do it
I
again.
struggle with that, but I think it's just a growth area. But I am a very observant person, and I see things, but I'll just overlook them at times, and so that is something I think is excellent advice for everybody, every age, every stage.
Yeah.
That's good.
I love
That's
that.
real good. I don't think I have anything right now. it's too many. My mama always say, you make sure he loves you more than you love him.
Well, now that's some advice my grandma gave us. She was like, 'cause that way he'll always do more.
That's right.
But that may or may not be true.
They're right.
Right.
Because, you know, we love it different.
Right.
Different, whatever. But I think the basis of it was let him pursue you.
Yes.
The pursuit needs, then you need to
Cause y'all
stop.
seen these women proposing.
I heard.
I have.
Don't
Yeah.
get me started on that. I just,
That's a whole nother show.
that's
for you,
a
ain't it?
whole nother show of Grown and Sexy.
Oh no, that ain't gonna be on my show because I would never have somebody.
Please
on
bring
that.
them on there. I would love for you to interview them.
Like, girl, what's wrong with you?
That's what it would be. That's what it would be. But once again, y'all, we are complete. This was so good. I could stay up here talking to these ladies all day. Natalise Washington, Deidre Stafford, DeShannon Dixon, Pink Table Talk. We have had an excellent time. So you make sure you tune in next week for our next show. We love y'all. Have a good one.
Bye, guys.